This is the Hollywood Ripper. Late on the night of February 21st, 2001, actor Ashton Kutcher swung by a Hollywood Hills, California bungalow to pick up his date, Ashley Ellerin, for a Grammy Awards party. But when he rang the doorbell, nobody answered. He tried the doorknob, but it was locked, so he went around to a side window and looked inside. He saw red liquid on the carpet that he thought was spilled wine. Thinking that Ellerin was upset with him because he had arrived hours late, Kutcher left. The next morning, her roommate found the 22-year-old brutally stabbed to death with wounds to her neck, chest, stomach, and back. She had been attacked while taking a shower. The case would frustrate police for years until another young woman was attacked across town in Santa Monica in 2008. But Michelle Murphy was able to fight off her assailant, who left drops of his blood behind. DNA testing on the blood linked the suspect, Michael Gargiulo, an LA heating and air conditioning repairman, to DNA left at the scene of a 1993 stabbing murder of a family acquaintance in his hometown of Chicago, and at the scene of the 2005 murder of his apartment neighbor, Maria Bruno, in El Monte, California. Dubbed the Hollywood Ripper and Chiller Killer, Gargiulo was arrested in 2008, and after years of delays, was tried and convicted in 2019 of Murphy's assault and the murders of Bruno and Ellerin, whose friends had seen him hanging around her house. The star witness was an emotional Kutcher. Facing the death penalty, Gargiulo has a sentencing hearing set for July 2021. He also faces extradition to Illinois for Picacho. This is the girl in the box. One day in late August 2016, Kayla Brown and her boyfriend Charles Carver simply vanished from their South Carolina apartment. After their families filed missing persons reports, investigators spent 2 months looking for the couple before cell phone records finally led them to a remote 100-acre farm in Woodruff, South Carolina, owned by real estate broker Todd Kolep. As police searched the property on November 3rd, they heard a banging noise coming from a shipping container. Officers broke open the lock, and inside they found Brown, chained like a dog, as one official said. Shackled by her neck and ankles, she was traumatized but alive and able to tell police everything that happened. The couple had gone to the farm to answer an ad to clean rental properties, and Kolep then shot Carver in front of Brown before taking her as his prisoner. For those 2 months, she said, Kolep raped her every day, twice a day, and freed her only long enough to show her the graves of her boyfriend and the other people he had killed. Appearing infatuated with her, he didn't want to kill me. He wanted to keep me, she later told Dr. Phil. According to the stories he told me, I'd already been alive longer than anyone else. A registered sex offender, Kolep confessed to a total of 7 killings in 13 years and was sentenced to 7 life terms, and in a separate civil suit ordered to pay Brown $6 million. Kayla Brown endured 2 months of hell as she was chained as a sex slave in a metal storage container. This is Dr. Death. When 81-year-old Kathleen Grundy was found dead in her Manchester, England home in 1998, her daughter Angela Woodruff went to the police. Grundy had left most of her estate to her physician, Harold Shipman, who also happened to have determined her cause of death. An investigation found Grundy had not died of old age, as Shipman had claimed. but of a morphine overdose, and that the will was a forgery written on Shipman's old brother typewriter, making Grundy the last victim in a swath of murders committed by the once respected doctor. Shipman, a loner with few friends growing up, he was both traumatized and fascinated by his mother's long, slow death from lung cancer, prompting him to pursue a career in medicine. His thriving practice as a family practitioner abruptly ended when he was fired in 1975 for forging prescriptions to feed his own addiction to the painkiller pethidine. After a rehab stint, Shipman made a name for himself as a leading physician at Donnybrook Medical Center in Hyde, England throughout the 80s and 90s. In 1998, however, a coroner alerted hospital officials to an unusually high death rate among Shipman's patients, most of whom were elderly women who were later cremated. A taxi driver told police many of the patients had seemed fine on the way to the hospital, where they later died. An investigation ended without charges, and Shipman continued to practice until the death of Grundy. Dr. Death, as he was nicknamed by the press, was convicted in 2000 of murdering 15 patients, though a later investigation estimated that more than 200 may have been killed. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. In 2004, he hanged himself in his cell the night before his 58th birthday. This goes to show you just can't trust anybody, even your own doctor. This is Issei Sagawa, the Japanese cannibal. He became a local celebrity after signing himself out of a Japanese mental institution in 1986. Sagawa came from a wealthy family and had exhibited cannibalistic urges from an early age, even engaging in bestiality. At 23, he made his first attempt at eating human flesh, breaking into a woman's house to cut off some of her flesh. He was caught and charged with attempted rape. Later, he would move to France to earn his PhD in literature. It would be then, at the age of 32, that Sagawa would kill and eat his classmate, Renee Hartevelt. He admitted to luring the 25-year-old Dutch woman to his apartment under the guise of working on poetry. He said he had chose her for her beauty and health, two things he believed he lacked. After shooting her in the neck, he ate various parts of her body over the course of 2 days. He then attempted to dump her body, which was in 2 suitcases, into a lake in France, but was caught in the act. After being held for 2 years in police custody, Sagawa was deemed legally insane in French court and was ordered to be held indefinitely in a mental health institution. After being deported to Japan, he was declared sane by Japanese psychologists and so was able to sign himself out of the hospital. This cannibal still roams the streets of Japan today, so keep an eye out if you have any trips planned.